Well, good morning, good people. Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. I hope everybody's having a great Monday morning. We are on the Shaq Leonard watch to see what's going to happen with Shaq, see if he's going to pick the Cowboys or if he's going to pick the Cry Eagles Cry. It's funny. I have not heard from the Eagle brethren that have been trolling me since the end of before the end of last year. I ain't heard from Philly 500. I've sent him a couple of messages and condolences about what happened to his team, but I have yet to hear back from him. I want to make sure that he's okay. The Eagles lost a lot last night. They lost respect, where everybody's talking about how great they were. It was interesting this morning listening to the talking heads because, they're talking about the team and saying, there were things that we overlooked about like their defense and their secondary and things like that we've been talking about here, of course, because we don't like the Eagles, analyzing it. And all Eagle fans would say is worry about your own team. Well, the reality is we all have, an Achilles heel here. We all have problems and things, but the Eagles' glaring weakness, they do have an offense that is very, very good. But that defense of theirs, wow, they are not good. They're not good at all. But that's not what I'm here to talk about. I'm not here to gloat this morning because this is Cowboys versus Eagles week. This is an important game. I think that this may be the most important game for the Dallas Cowboys in a very long time because this can set the tone for the rest of the season. This is an opportunity to turn the tide. You may not, in the end, win the division, but you may be able to win the psychological battle. Speaking of battle, MVP race. Everybody had Jalen Hurts shoot in as the number one guy. The Vegas odds now actually have it on Dak Prescott. But here's what's going to happen. I can tell you right now, here's what's going to happen is they're not going to want Dak Prescott to get MVP. They're just not going to want to get him to get it. What you're going to hear is you're going to hear the evolution where we're going to be now looking at different players to be the league MVP. Okay, I'm serious because here's what it is. If Dak continues playing the way he's playing, you saw Pat Mahomes lose yesterday against the Green Bay Packers. You see, of course, Jalen Hurts. If Dak and the Dallas Cowboys end up winning against the Eagles, you see him winning against Josh Allen, you see him winning against Miami. There's no way in the world that you can't look at this and say that the Dallas Cowboys and Dak, led by Dak Prescott, isn't the MVP. I know Brock Purdy is playing outstanding right now, but you look at that and say they've got, the best running back in football. They've got the most physical wide receiver. They've got one of the best tight ends. Brock Purdy, they got a great offensive lineman and a great, left tackle, probably the best left tackle and best cheap shot artist in football. So it's not so much just Brock Purdy as it is also the people around him. But what you're beginning to already hear now is, now Tyreek Hill may be on pace to make 2,000 yards. But here's the thing. In the history of league MVP, there's never been a wide receiver to get it. There hasn't been. There's never been. You're also hearing now Trent Williams. I hate to tell you, never been an offensive lineman as the MVP of the league. It's typically, from time to time, it is a running back. But typically, it's the best quarterback. It's the best. Let's be clear here. You might as well say MVP is the quarterback award for being the best quarterback in the season until Dak Prescott's the best one. And that's where you're beginning to hear that now. I've never, ever in my life, in the years of watching football and looking at the league MVP, ever heard of a wide receiver, a running back, and an offensive lineman in the conversation for league MVP. Just haven't. Until, of course, Dak Prescott is in there. Because they're going to go ahead. I hate to say this. This is one of those things that people probably take the wrong way. But it's the truth. My father used to always say, you got to understand, being a black person, you have to be above and beyond reproach. You got to do it better by far than the next guy. It's not always an even playing field. The fact that you have Dak Prescott, and I'm not saying this is because it's Dak Prescott is a black man or anything like that. And I do not try and stoke racial division. In fact, I try and go the other direction. But you also have to deal with the realities of situations. Not so much the Dak Prescott, who is actually of mixed descent. So it doesn't really matter. The prejudice against him is because he is a Dallas Cowboy player. If Dak Prescott was the quarterback of any other team, there would be no question that he would be the number one candidate. But because he is the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys, like in the movie, Remember the Titans, you have to leave no doubt. You have to be above and beyond reproach. It's not going to be enough to just say, I led the NFL. You have to be way ahead in touchdown passes. You got to be way below in interceptions. You have to be above in yardage. In the same way, we've seen this. We've looked and listened to people like Joy Taylor, Dak Prescott. He can't prove anything to me. Your mind is closed to the possibility. When you hear people say he doesn't pass the eye test, even though you're seeing him doing things that they say that he can't, they always still, in some people's minds, still say Dak Prescott's a dink and dunker when he's actually leading the NFL in passes downfield. They'll say he's not as good as Pat Mahomes when right now he's got a lot more touchdown passes than Pat Mahomes and less interceptions and a higher rating. They'll say he doesn't have the talent of Justin Herbert and that he only benefited from having a great offense and offensive coordinator. And you have the same offensive coordinator going to play with Justin Herbert and they score 6 points. 6 points against New England. So the fact that you have the highest scoring offense in football, the fact that you lead the NFL in touchdown passes, the fact that you are, I think, third in yardage, the fact that you are 1/10 of a point behind in completion percentage, that people still don't look at you and say MVP is crazy. It just is. And that's where you understand what my father was saying, that in life, you have to be above and beyond because you will be scrutinized more than the next guy. We'll have to wait and see. But Dak, it's all in your hands, buddy, as far as getting MVP. And if you ended up being Man of the Year, you get MVP. And I'm not going to use the S word, but if you can do that, you've done it all. All right, good people. I hope you all are having a great day. And Eagle fans, let me hear from you guys. Don't be cockroaches. When the Cowboys lost, I was right here. Right here. Manning the F up. I'd like to see you do the same. You cockroaches. I'm Mark Holmes, and it's on Eagles Hate Week. Peace.